Artist David Driscoll died last year of COVID at the age of 88, a longtime collector who raised the profile of African-American art and artists. His own paintings are now getting their due. Jeffrey Brown has this report for our Arts and Culture series, Canvas.
Scenes of city life and nature, of Christian religious imagery and African masks. They were subjects David Driscoll would return to again and again in his more than 6 decades as an artist. Work, says art historian and curator Adrienne Childs, that deserves to be better known.
Why are we looking at David Driscoll now? It's because it's about time. I think that his work was overlooked because his energy was not funneled into getting his work on the wall. It was funneled into getting others noticed.
Artist, historian, curator, educator, collector, Driscoll influenced several generations of artists and students and helped change the landscape of American art generally with exhibitions such as his 1976 landmark, 2 Centuries of Black American Art, showcasing then under-recognized individuals and art forms. Art historian Julie McGee is author of a biography of Driscoll.
I think there are probably 5 David Driscolls, or maybe more than that. I mean,
5?
Yeah, I think he absolutely felt a sense of a mission to be an educator, and the way that factored into his life was as an art educator and art historian who took up the mantle to ensure that African American art was known and that African American artists were supported.
Now Driscoll is being celebrated for his own art in David Driscoll Icons of Nature and History, co-organized by the High Museum of Art in Atlanta and the Portland Museum of Art in Maine. Julie McGee is its curator. Adrienne Childs is coordinating curator for the installation at its current stop, Washington, D.C.'s Phillips Collection. One of the earliest works here, the 1956 painting, Behold Thy Son, a response from Driscoll to the gruesome murder of 14-year-old Emmett Till in Mississippi a year earlier. Till's mother had insisted the casket be open so the world could see the violence of the racist attack.
Driscoll comes up with this really interesting take on it in Behold Thy Son, where the beaten boy's mother is holding him up and presenting him in church to the congregation.
It's painting almost in real time, but it's also looking to the history of art, right? I mean, the crucifixion, Christ on the cross.
He's definitely looking through the history of Western art, in this case, but bringing it home.
Another subject for Driscoll, scenes of urban black life. He painted Ghetto Wall No. 2 in 1970. A brick wall, graffiti, a figure in black, the American flag exploded in pieces amid a riot of color.
So it is very much an artist who is using the canvas to express the experience of living in America in 1970. The association that David Driscoll would have as a black man in America. What is it? Do I love America? Is the flag I, you, me? Is it a shattered promise?
Color, form, surface, composition. Driscoll was looking at artists like Cézanne and Rembrandt and constantly experimenting as a painter. His homage to Rohmer honors the artist Rohmer Bearden and his work with collage. Driscoll then developed his own collage technique, seen in paintings like Upward Bound in 1980 and Flowing Like a River in 1996. Driscoll taught all his life at Talladega College, Howard and Fisk Universities, and beginning in 1977, the University of Maryland, which in 2001 established the David C. Driscoll Center, dedicated to furthering scholarship in African American and African diaspora art and culture. He also had a long-time home and studio in Falmouth, Maine, where he continued to work on another great love, scenes from nature, especially in a variety of forms, the pine tree. Julie McGee would often visit him there.
There's something about the studio space that was a creative sanctuary for him. I would say that in many ways it is the audacity that he had as an artist and creator that enabled him to be the curator and scholar that he was.
Driscoll, who collected and painted African masks, often spoke of art as a priestly calling.
the experience.
Here he is in a 2020 interview for the Phillips Collection.
Everybody has a calling. Everybody has a field that they are supposed to be dedicated to. And that if one can define that field beyond self and be inclusive of others, then that's one of the most important things that could be done. If you can pass it on, if you can say, here is my gift to you.
He often walked through the galleries of the Phillips. When he was a student at Howard University, Washington, D.C. was still a segregated city, and the museum was one of the few cultural spaces open to him. There is a sense of coming full circle back to the Phillips, where he was as a student.
It is bittersweet to be here in the room with these works that were in his studio and going from the 1950s up into the 2000s, and he's not here.
David Driscoll helped with the early coordination of this exhibition. It was meant to coincide with his 90th birthday. He worked to the end of his life, dying of COVID at age 88 on April 1st, 2020. The exhibition, David Driscoll, Icons of Nature and History, continues in Washington through January 9th, 2022, and then moves to the Cincinnati Art Museum. For the PBS NewsHour, I'm Jeffrey Brown at the Phillips Collection.